So this is Crossfire, that program that looks at political happenings around the country as the country gears up for another election after the nullification of the August 8th presidential election results by the Supreme Court. Thank you for joining us, for making time for us. So in studio, I have Ababu Namwamba, Labour Party leader. We're also expecting Rosa Boyo Kisumu, woman representative. We want to have a conversation about what has been happening around the country. But before we get there and we get a little bit personal into the personal life of Mr. Namwamba, the Kenya National Super Alliance has dismissed an internal audit report by a French biometrics firm, Otmorpho, that declares no manipulation of data and or hacking of its systems occurred during the August 8th polls. NASA says Otmorpho cannot investigate itself over the election malpractices after it defied the Supreme Court of Kenya directive to access and audit IEBC service. And as Patrick Amimo now reports, NASA dug in even as the IEBC communications officer told KTN News that the time left to October 17th is too short to allow the procurement and establishment of new technology systems for the repeat election.
Saffron Identity Company and Mofo Chief Operating Officer Frederick Baylor told AFP that a systems audit undertaken with help from external experts from security software companies had shown the system in no way suffered manipulation of data and or attempts to penetrate the system. The French biometrics firm attributed delays in scanning of Form 34As to lack of 3G network coverage in some parts of the country. The opposition NASA has rubbished Saffron Morpho's audit. NASA wants an independent internal audit by international reputable firms.
Ile kampuni ambayo inaitwa Saffron Morpho ambayo ilileta vifaa ambayo ilitumiwa kwa wizi ya kura, ambayo walikataa kufungua servers yao ili tufanye ukaguzi, hawezi kufanya uchunguzi yao wenyewe, na tunasema wao watoke nje kwanza.
How can a thief audit a thief, or a thief audit himself? Here haiwezekani hata kidogo.
The French company supplied 45,000 tablets equipped with the two electronic systems that identified voters and transmitted election results through the Kenya Integrated Electronic Management System, KIMS. Last week, NASA's chief presidential campaigner Musalia Mudavadi petitioned the French government to initiate criminal investigations against the two French companies and their two officials for being part of an alleged rigging plot during the August 8th presidential election that was later nullified by the Supreme Court. Musalia argues, just like directors of the UK security printing company Smith and Usman were prosecuted and jailed over the Chicken Gate scandal, so should be the French. NASA has accused Saffron and Morpho of allowing unauthorized access to its servers and manipulating the transmission of results.
Sasa tunataka tuone serikali ya Ufaransa nayo itaandama hawa wengine ambayo mitambo yao ilitumiwa kuiba kura za Raila.
Hii kampuni kwanza Saffron na Morpho, kabla ya kwenda kwa uchaguzi tunataka chairman Wambua Chebukati, Wafula Chebukati, sio huyo? Awaulize who are your local, lazima najua who are their local partners. Utaona kuna kampuni inaitwa Elams on Mombasa Road. Hiyo ilichapisha forms 34A bandia, na hiyo ndio partner ya Saffron.
IEBC's communication manager Andrew Limo told KTN News that the commission will not buy any new KIMS kits for the October 17th repeat poll. Limo said KIMS data is safeguarded and backed up, and that the only challenge is with the ballot boxes. The law does not allow IEBC to empty boxes and reuse them for a period of 3 years. Consequently, IEBC has initiated the process of procuring new ballot boxes for the fresh elections. The opposition has also tabled a list of irreducible minimums which they say must be implemented before the October election. These include changes in IEBC senior staff, reforms on technology, logistics and operations, and identification of a new printer for the ballot papers.
Tuko tayari kuenda kwa marudio ya uchaguzi wa rais. Sisi hatutaki nusu mkati. Sisi tunataka kuchukua boflo yote yetu. Pile ile champuni ambayo ilichapisha kura na makaratasi ya bandia Al-Ghurair ya Dubai wakae kando. Tatu, wale maofisa wa IEBC, wale ambao wengine walikuwa presiding officers, wengine walikuwa returning officers, ambao walishiriki kwa wizi wa kura, wabadilishe wote.
IEBC has reached out to both NASA and Jubilee for a joint meeting next week to update on poll preparations and address concerns ahead of the poll. Patrick Amimo, KTN News.
And that would be a good place to start this conversation tonight on Crossfire with the Babu Namwamba Labour Party leader. Sir, thank you so much for joining us on Crossfire this evening. The back and forth, as we wait for Rosa Boyo, because she should be here any minute from now, the back and forth between IEBC, NASA, Jubilee, what are your thoughts about it?
It is absolutely unfortunate, actually extremely unfortunate, and also unnecessary. I think we have reached a point when we have to demand that we bring to a close this recklessness, because it's very reckless, it is very irresponsible. Some of the sentiments that we are hearing from leaders of the caliber of Raila Odinga, of Kalonzo Musyoka, leaders that you would expect to be providing sober guidance to the country at a time such as this, is unfortunate, and it has to come to an end.
But the utterances are coming from both sides.
I'm looking at, of course, utterances are coming from both sides because they are protagonists. President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy, William Ruto, on the other side, are protagonists with Raila Odinga and Kalonzo leading the other side. But there is a stark difference. There's a stark difference when you look at the two. Take the question of what has to happen in our circumstances. The president and his deputy are unequivocal that we have a constitution. The constitution clearly provides the way out of the scenario we are in today. Then we also have a ruling by the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court clearly tells us that go back and conduct a fresh election in 60 days. And the president and his deputy are saying, let us do it. That's what the Constitution says. That is what the Supreme Court has ordered. Let us do it. Raila Odinga and his associates are saying we can't do this unless we do it according to their will. And I want to say that this country cannot be run at the whim of an individual or a group of individuals. Okay. This country can only be run on the basis of the constitution of this republic.
So in other words, you're trying to tell me that some of the demands that are being made by the NASA principals don't make sense, do they?
They are reckless, they are irresponsible, and they are unreasonable. Look, in fact, let's start at a point where NASA walks out of a meeting and announces that we are not going to boycott this election, but we are not going to allow it to happen. I mean, what does that mean? What does it mean to say that you are going to stop a constitutional process from taking off? Basically, what you are saying is that you are going, or you are challenging the operation of the Constitution. You are actually declaring assault on the Constitution of the Republic. That statement actually amounts to a civilian coup against the constitutional order of the Republic. And then you look at some of the sentiments that are coming from the NASA corner. You see insincerity and you see dishonesty.
Okay.
Let me give you a couple of examples. NASA says they don't want an election on October 17th. But they're collecting money from poor Kenyans out there. What are they doing with that money? If you don't want an election, why are you collecting money? What are you collecting this money for?
Okay, first of all, to be fair.
Then number two, I hope Rosa gets here. She's late, by the way. Her getting here late is also indicative of how NASA does its things.
Because she should be here any moment from now.
I've been here for all this time waiting for this lady. My very good friend Rosa, and I really hope she gets here.
Yeah.
She's one lady I have a lot of respect for, by the way.
Okay.
I'm very proud of Rosa Buyu. I hope she gets here so that
you can ask some of these questions.
Get some of the answers from these people. For instance, they are calling the current Parliament Bandia. They do not recognize Parliament as currently constituted. I want to understand on what basis Rosa and her colleagues walked to this Parliament and took oath of office. Why did they take oath of office in an institution they consider to be illegitimate, illegal? They sneak into Parliament every morning to sign so that they can earn their allowances, yet they claim to have boycotted this parliament. They have an organ they're calling their PG, and every time we are being told we have the NASA PG. NASA PG has met and made a decision and recommended this. Why are you having a PG when you do not recognize the institution that provides the platform for that PG? So all these are issues indicative of a coalition that is actually in a crisis. And they want to extend the coalition crisis to become a Kenyan crisis.
Okay.
And I think that is highly irresponsible and reckless.
Now that you're talking about utterances, it would be very interesting to also get your sentiments on what the president had to say a while back. And he said that even if Raila is voted in as the president, one, how would he rule? He doesn't have the numbers. And then two, he said, we'll basically impeach the guy.
The president was expressing a reality, a truism, a fact, a solid fact. Because, you know, when you hear the argument that President Uhuru did not win this election, it's actually laughable. It's hilarious.
Why is it hilarious?
Because we had 6 elections on August 8th, and President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputies swept all the 6 elections. Majority MCAs, majority members of the National Assembly, majority senators, majority women reps, majority governors. So they have a majority across the board. And what the president is saying.
But in a system that the Supreme Court says had illegalities and irregularities.
So why doesn't all these NASA MPs and senators and women reps, why don't they resign?
But there are a lot of petitions.
I want Rosa Buyu, she's coming on the set shortly.
Here.
I want her to be the first one to say, I'm resigning my seat. And all the NASA members will resign their seats because hii ilikuwa system ya majambazi.
Waachane na hizo vitu waseme tu.
Waachane na hizo vitu, twende tufanye kila kitu mpya. Let us do everything afresh.
Okay, so we have like what, 3, 4, 5 minutes as we wait for Rosa. So let me get a little bit personal. Where have you been?
After the elections, I went on vacation.
Yeah.
I took time off just to relax, to rest, and catch my breath, and then got back from my vacation just a couple of days before the Supreme Court ruling, because I wanted to be here to celebrate President Uhuru Kenyatta's victory, and to be part of his swearing in, to see him proceed with management of the affairs of this country. And then the Supreme Court ruling delivered that shocker, which has not made sense to me to date.
Yeah.
And so from that moment, I've been involved in campaigning for the president and just preparing for October 17th, busy on the campaign trail, and also spending lots of time with my family. Yeah. Family means so much to me.
Okay, so how is it working on the Jubilee side?
It's good. I am happy to be playing on a political side where what you see is what you get. There is no pretense, there is no insincerity, no dishonesty, and we are just real. When you see Ababu Namwamba here, this is what you get. Nothing pretentious.
So those things that you're saying are not in Jubilee, they were there in NASA. Okay, I need to take a break. I need to take a break so that Rosa can come in here. And then we can have the real crossfire. Yes. You're watching Crossfire, so give me a few minutes so that we can get Rosa on set. You're watching this on KTN News. Let me take that very short break. We'll be back.